Hey guys, I know I said I wasn't really going to make any more real update videos for this build, but I just one-shot Arbiter, well, tier 1 Arbiter. I can definitely one-shot tier 4 when I get there, but I just don't have enough money to do it. But also, I switched up the build in a very, very major way that I wanted to give you guys an update about. And I would almost even consider this kind of a new build in a way. And I kind of alluded to this in one of my previous videos, but right now I have fully made the swap for my character to go from armor energy shield to just pure energy shield. And I have to say that the survivability of this build has gone up by a ton just off of this basic swap. Now, my character right now, as you can see, is level 93. We are rocking 367 strength, 193 intelligence, and we have now 10.7k energy shield, and life doesn't really matter, right? 1.5k mana and 245 spirit. We don't have that much armor anymore, and we have a little bit more block. I think it's because of our shield having a little bit of block chance, right? But we are also capped out on all of our resistances, which might change in a little bit depending on what I do with my shield, because we do have the Trial Master Shield, the Mahuzadl's Machination, and we have one jewel in there for rarity, and we have one for chaos resistance. Eventually, I might swap it over to both rarity jewels, or sockets, soul cores, whatever you might call it. And then we'll lose some chaos resistance off of that. If you can see, we take it off, we lose a ton, right? But that's besides the point. We have made a lot of changes to this build in terms of the tree and the character itself to make it full energy shield. As you can see, the skeleton of the tree hasn't really changed too much, but we did make it so that we are now going into these energy shield nodes up here. We grab this full ring right here, and also we grab this full ring right here. So not like a ton has changed, but we just basically sacked most of these energy shield armor nodes, or rather all of them. And we have just gotten to focus all on pure energy shield scaling. And you can see that with our equipment as well. Energy shield chest, energy shield helmet, and we also had this energy shield glove beforehand as well. But all of this has given us the ability to run full energy shield, and we have a whopping 10.7k energy shield, and that is with this shield. If we were going to go with my old shield, we would be all the way at 11k plus energy shield. So we're rocking a good bit of survivability now. We're really pretty much not dying to most things. And yeah, it's been feeling really, really good. But as a result of this, and kind of we talked about it before, we're still rocking no dexterity, so we got rid of our, what is it called, charge infusion, right? Which at the end of the day really wasn't doing all that much for us anyways. So we have a huge, huge update to our character and just made it so that it is running so much smoother because of this. Now, the other thing I did want to mention, and this is a pretty short video, right? Just a quick update, is that we, for some reason, right, I've been experiencing some not very consistent results with a one-shot. I mean, we're one-shotting most of the time, but sometimes it wasn't one-shotting, and I was like, what is going on here? And I kept running the numbers, and I kept coming back to the same thing of we should have enough to one-shot, right? We were at 234% increased critical hit chance. And as a result, with our 5% base from the Magma barrier and the 10% base from the critical weakness from our Eye of Winter, and the ambush, we should have been at a little bit over 100% crit. But for some reason, every now and then, we were just missing crits, which is not something I want for this build, right? So in addition to having this jewel right here, I also added another jewel somewhere on my tree. I don't know where I put it. I'll probably find it in a little bit. But we added another jewel that added additional critical hit chance. There it is. So 14% critical hit chance on this one. And then we have 14% critical hit chance on this one. And ever since I added these two jewels, we have been having zero problems with one-shotting every single time. Again, I'm not sure why we were having troubles before. Running the math, it made sense. It was always above 100%, like barely, But now that we're way over cap, it's basically 100% of the time critical hitting. Maybe I might run more bosses and we might miss a crit again at some point. And at that point, I'll be really scratching my head about what's going on. But yeah, we added an extra jewel just to make sure we are fully guaranteed never missing a critical hit on a boss, because that happened like 2 or 3 times on like some important bosses. Like it happened twice on Breach, like Zesht. I was like, oh my god, I was like literally. So that is the current situation of the build. Very, very efficient, very, very good. Wanted to make this update video just talking about the changes to the build to make it fully energy shield as opposed to armor energy shield. Armor energy shield is still fine, right? It still works. And it was kind of like an experiment for me because I knew that armor was getting buffed soon. So I was like, all right, let's try this out. But at the end of the day, energy shield is still just more OP than armor, and armor is still kind of weak. So we swapped it to full energy shield, and this build is doing way better. So if you're still on the armor energy shield build, that's totally fine. That still works. But if you want it to kick it up a little bit and making it a little bit more survivable, this is a route that I would recommend. I also want to take the time to address some commonly asked questions about the build as well, because I've been noticing some people asking questions about it. So first things first, right? People are asking me like, oh, what do you do with your weapon, right? Do you have a secondary weapon or not? Well, I do have a secondary setup, but let's be real. This was my bricked weapon. I'm not using it to do any damage. So whenever I do go for the one shot, I do the swap and then I swap my weapon over like that, right? And if you only have one shield, then you can swap the shield over like this. Right now I have 2 shields because I bought a second shield. So all I need to do is swap the weapon over. And then also another swap right now. Parrying motion. I did end up getting a secondary amulet to run this for maps. The only time I'm ever using preemptive strike is when I'm fighting pinnacle bosses, because if you don't have this preemptive strike, you're not one-shotting them. I tested it out and I was like, I think probably about 6 mil short or something like that. I'm sure if you have more crit damage scaling or more elemental scaling, whatever it might be, you might be able to do it even without preemptive strike. But my build does need preemptive strike still. So we swap in preemptive strike, we swapped in close combat instead of magnified effect. And that's what we're kind of doing for our setup there. Other common questions asked about, like, you know, attributes. Like, really, just get enough attributes for your equipment. That's all it is. Just get enough attributes. It's hard to tell you exactly like, oh, you know, you want, you know, attribute on your belt and your ring and whatever, right? It's just get it wherever you can to make sure you get the required attributes, and it's same for resistances. So just get enough resistances wherever you can to get your resistances as high as possible. But yeah, that wraps this video up. Pretty short. Just want to give you a quick update on my build and what I've done so far. We're going to try to keep doing more arbiters as we can, as we get more currency, and hopefully get them to tier 4, and then I'll probably post another update video then. But yeah, as per usual, if you want to join me on my journey as I continue to make this character stronger and stronger, be sure to hit the sub button. Best way to support the channel and also keep up with my updates. Second of all, I stream every single night on twitch.tv/MisaShiru, starting at 10 p.m. PST, so I'd love to see you guys there. But if not, hopefully I'll see y'all on the next video. All right, guys. Peace.